What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. And the other day I made a video talking about my prediction for the release date because I put a community post out and said, what things do you want to see me talk about? And a few people said, what's your prediction for the release of this game? And in this prediction video, I said, if you guys have any questions you want answered, anything you wanted me to talk about, let me know in the comments down below. A few things I was able to reply to, but I got this one comment. This might be one of my favorite questions I've received, one of my favorite comments I've ever got on my YouTube channel. At least ESports Boxing Club related, because some of the love you guys show me is just insane, and those are always my favorite. I saw this comment, I was like, you know what, I've got to make a video talking about it. So without further ado, guys, let's get into it. And the comment was from David, and he says here, what are your thoughts on how ESports Boxing Club could have damage play a bigger / different role than what we have seen in Fight Night Champion? In Fight Night Champion, my boxer's eye could be swollen, have an awful cut with blood pouring down. The commentators talk about it impacting my vision, but unless the ref stops it, so what? How can the devs for ESports Boxing Club change this so that damage actually means something, and that so we actually have to think about targeting / blocking damaged areas? The only thing that comes to mind is back when I played Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, when I got shot, I would have a red splatter on the screen, and it would be harder to see. I guess the devs can try to do something like that to kind of make the point that, hey, your fighter has blood pouring into his eyes, and this makes a difference. Any thoughts on this, or potentially a video? And I just thought that was just a brilliant comment, and the damage system is something I've spoke about before, and something I really want to see. So I thought, you know what, let's talk about it today. Now, we've seen damage before with a few screenshots. We've seen swollen eye, we've seen cut eyes. It's nothing we haven't seen from ESports Boxing Club before, as well as pretty much every other fighting game. And in combat sports, you can have so many facial injuries, from swollen eye, cut eyebrows, cut forehead, cut cheeks, broken nose, broken jaw, so many more. And just, really in real boxing and real MMA, you can have cuts literally anywhere. Anywhere where the skin is on your face, it can be cut open. So it's always dangerous and random. But I thought we'd break it down into sections, and we'd start with kind of the eye-based injuries that you can have and what I think should happen when they happen in ESports Boxing Club. Now, of course, you've got swollen eyes, broken orbital bones, which of course result in swelling. You've got eyebrow cuts that of course cause restriction of vision due to the blood pouring down. Now, I think that anything from a swollen to a badly bleeding eye, so anything that pretty much restricts the fighter's view, I don't think they should restrict the player's view though. Some may disagree, but I don't think there should be any kind of red overlay when bleeding, or a black overlay or a grey overlay when, you've got one eye completely shut. I'm not a fan of that. I think, we should be able to tell our that our fighters are injured by maybe, a little HUD, the little character HUD down below, just some way that doesn't have a huge overlay over my screen. So for me, I think, of course, any eye-based injuries, like I said, from swollen eyes, broken bones, badly bleeding eyebrows that pours into the eye, it should lower your fighter's accuracy. There should be some inconsistency with punches from power, speed, and accuracy from the punches, because your fighter has got almost, in some essence, 50% vision. So shots are going to be harder to see coming. They're going to be harder to throw more accurately as you were as a two-eyed fighter. And of course, lowering the head health stat as the fight goes on. For example, if the orbital bone is broken, then, fuck me, with an eye injury, swollen or broken, damage, however you may feel, however your fighter is injured, the damage you take will be going down, and the damage you can actually withstand throughout the fight, the stat will lower and lower as the fight goes on. So of course, with the constant worry that the fighter and the player of the ref stopping the fight, possibly, getting hit one too many times in the eye. And eventually, if that orbital bone is broken, that eye is swollen, that eyebrow is cut, the more you get hit, the more that's going to hurt. So the ref may end the fight. You may have to take a knee. Your fighter may just give up. The bone is broken, so he just gives up. But I think the way any based eye injuries should affect the game is it should affect your fighter's accuracy. It should affect the damage they can take. It should affect the shots, not somewhat the shots they can see coming, but maybe, it makes things like head movement a little bit slower. Because of course, if this eye is completely shut and your opponent kind of comes around like this, you don't really know where that shot's going until it's a little bit too late. So I think for sure, while I don't think there should be an overlay on the screen of like red blood or greyness to kind of view that you only have 50% vision, I think there should be, your fight should definitely have slower reactions, accuracy, power and speed is a bit more restricted. Maybe not power and speed, because you can still throw a good shot with completely blind. But I think for accuracy, especially having that one eye shut, bleeding in, you're going to be constantly distracted, wiping this eye. I don't think your fight would be as accurate as he was at the start of the fight. Then, of course, we go on to things like nose injuries, which I'm actually very prone to in real life. So this is actually something I know a thing or two about. So, of course, with a really badly bloodied nose, nothing's broken. That's not hugely injured, but it could restrict the breathing through the nose, of course. And it also fills the blood with mouth, so lots of spitting. You're not going to be able to breathe as freely through the nose, so it's going to be completely open mouth breathing, even with just a badly bloodied nose. Now, of course, the breathing will be even more restricted with a broken nose. You know, you're going to almost not be able to breathe through your nose at all, leaving the mouth wide open to actually be able to breathe. So, of course, then, you know, with a mouth wide open, jaw open, you're completely prone to being smacked even harder in the chin and possibly putting you to sleep. Because, of course, you know, you always want to have your chin tucked. But if your jaw is open, your mouth is open, you've got blood coming from your nose, you're struggling to breathe just through the mouth, and you get hit in the chin, that's going to hurt a lot more than if you have your teeth together, biting down on the mouthpiece. Even just things like, you know, a badly bloodied nose, that's going to restrict your fighter tucking his chin as well as maybe a fighter that doesn't have that nose injury. Then, of course, like I said, with the eye, with the broken nose, it's going to lower the damage you can take. While it doesn't hurt quite as much as, say, a broken orbital bone, the more it breaks, the more painful it is. A bit like Rory McDonald versus Robbie Lawler. There came a certain point in the fight where no matter how tough he wanted to be and how much he fought and fought and fought, he went like this and he literally felt like his nose was jelly. It was like a little block of jelly with little bits of bone in it, and that's what his nose felt like. It was too painful to carry on, and the fight was over. So I think both the eye and maybe the nose not so much, but I think there would come a certain point where no matter how much damage you take to the face and the nose area, no matter how shattered the nose is, eventually a fighter, not all fighters, but some fighters will eventually take a knee, give up, or just not want to fight anymore because their nose is that badly busted that it could end up, for example, career mode, it can end up ruining their career. So maybe if, you know, you get a badly shattered nose in your career, it's better to take a knee and take the loss and come back stronger next time than it is to fight it out and be a warrior and end up being like, actually, you know what, this is going to hinder me in all future fights, and chances are I'm going to lose even more because the nose is going to be such a target for opponents in the future. Then we go on to kind of an extreme one, but ones that are pretty brutal. Things like broken jaws. Now, of course, there's not too many injuries that can happen around the mouth area. I know that sounds stupid because you could have your teeth knocked out, you could have really badly busted lips, but things like teeth being knocked out and busted lips, other than maybe a hit to your morale, that doesn't really affect too much. Of course, it's always going to be painful, as all punches to the face are, but the broken jaw is really where it's going to affect you the most. Which, of course, like the others, will lower the damage you can take before going down. A broken jaw is going to cause a constant blood flow coming from the mouth, jaw wide open, breathing won't be easy, and pain will be often. You know, even breathing through the jaw is going to be painful. Of course, you could breathe through the nose of a broken jaw, but chances are it's not going to be early in the fight you've got a broken jaw. So chances are you're going to be exhausted, maybe 8 rounds in, so you're not going to be able to close that mouth and breathe through your nose. Chance of a broken jaw, you can't even close your mouth, so you're just going to have that constant fly trap open, and you're just going to prone more to damage. So, of course, the more shots you take to the chin, so you're going to have to protect your chin more, maybe just keeping that guard up like here, which obviously then leaves the head open, the body definitely more prone to shots if you're constantly worried about protecting that chin. And the final one that I want to talk about was things like body damage. Of course, constant body damage will restrict your stamina, your damage, and your breathing. Of course, damage, I mean damage that you can take throughout the fight. But most fighters tend to be pretty decent at taking damage to the body. They can be pretty tough, and, you know, fights can go 12 rounds with a pretty decent body assault and not show too much. Then, of course, you've got things like Triple G against Matthew Macklin. 1 punch to the body, broke 2 ribs. You've got Luke Campbell against Ryan Garcia, of course. That was another body shot that ended the fight in one go. So that can happen. However, for argument's sake, let's say we have a fighter that's tough and takes a lot of damage to the body. Now, of course, the more damage you take, the less damage you're going to be able to take as the fight goes on. But let's say, for example, this is an extreme, but you have something like a broken rib and you're somehow able to fight through it. Maybe the guard is just naturally lower. Even if you want to block the head, your fighter's guard is still slightly lower, as they know that one more shot to the damaged side of the body could end the fight. Of course, with a broken rib, it's going to breathing's restricted. Punches, of course, restrict. You know, maybe you are unable to hold a high guard to protect your head. Your fighter's constantly got his elbows down low. Even throwing decent strikes may be slow or not as powerful because maybe that rib is injured, so you're not going to be able to extend that jab, extend that straight, whichever stance you're in, throw those hooks, risk throwing a hook and getting slip countered back to the damaged side of your body. Of course, you know, you're going to be maybe hunched over a little bit slower. You're not going to be able to, you know, pivot and roll and slip as often as easily because you're going to have this damaged side, this broken bone here, if you are able to fight through it. That's kind of my basic thoughts on the damage and how the damage should affect you. I think that all bad damage should affect your fighter in some way, whether it be accuracy, damage taken, damage that they can take, power, speed of punches, mobility, movement, agility, things like that. I think that we shouldn't just have like, oh, he's, you know, always his eye's badly bleeding, let's hope the ref doesn't stop it. And then like David said on his comment, then nothing else happens. If the ref doesn't stop it, it doesn't matter. I think we need to have punishment, of course, and then also when you're online, you see someone with a cut eyebrow. Let's say you cut their eyebrow in round 7, but you've lost the first 6. You know, all right, I don't need to win on points. I need to hurt this. I need to slice this guy's eyebrow, open enough to where the ref ends the fight, or his vision is so restricted that I can start to throw more combinations together where he can't see them coming as well. Now, of course, the thing with the vision is we're looking at a fight like this. We've got a fighter here, fighter here. Now, of course, if this fighter has a damaged eye, I'm still watching it and I can still see. That's why I said maybe the game should make the reaction times a little bit slower, because you're constantly worried about that shot. You're constantly restricted vision. You're not going to be able to see things coming as well. It might leave you maybe more vulnerable. Maybe your fighter instinctively constantly does this to protect himself, so he leaves his body more open, then his body gets hurt, leaves himself open for that headshot. I don't want too much AI assistance with it. I'm just kind of thinking of a way that, you as a fighter, if your eye is badly busted, are you going to want to keep blocking like this because you're going to be getting pieced up here and here, or are you just going to want to be blocking like this to keep this safe and risk the body being torn to shreds? And like I said, maybe a rib being broken, maybe you drop your hands and your jaw gets broken, maybe you drop your hands and nose gets broken. I think we definitely need realistic punishments for when a fighter is severely injured. And of course, this isn't talking drops. This is on the basis that there is no knockdowns throughout the fight. This is full standing up until, like I said, maybe the orbital bone is broken. Few more shots to it. Your fighter just, you don't have a choice. Your fighter just takes a knee and is struggling to carry on. And maybe if like his toughness rating or something, or his chin resistance or his head health rating isn't as high, the ref will look and be like, yeah, now fight's over. His eye is fucked, kind of thing. But that's what my thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. It's definitely an exciting topic to talk about. Thank you as always for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Drop a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.